What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is part of a series where I focus on Academy Award Best Picture nominees from a certain year and then rank them from worst to best. Done such years in the past such as the 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, and currently working my way through the 1980s. I've done 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, and you clicked on this video, so you know this time around I'm ranking the 1988 Academy Award Best Picture nominees from worst to best. Now, there were 5 Best Picture nominees, so I'll be ranking them from 5 being the worst to 1 being the best, and of course, my humble opinion. And it goes without saying, but keep in mind that this is my opinion in terms of the ranking. Your list will be different, and that's what's great about film. It's subjective, and I am very much so looking forward to seeing your ranking for these nominees from this year. And guys, enough exposition, though. Let's get started. So kicking things off, number 5, we have The Accidental Tourist. I didn't like this movie. I'm just going to say it right off the bat. I wasn't a fan of this movie in the slightest. I struggled mightily. I felt the pacing was laborious. I thought the length was felt quite a bit. Performances are fine, but I'm really not a fan of the story. Wasn't a fan of the romance. I was quite disappointed by this movie. And yeah, that's why I would have it as my number 5. Next up, my number 4. This is a movie that I know a lot of people are going to be angry that I have this so low on the list, but it is what it is. My number 4 is Dangerous Liaisons. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But anyways, this is a movie that I love the cast. The cast, I think, is really good. Costume design, production design. It's a movie that is very meticulous in the filmmaking. But in terms of characters, story, length, those were all things that I did take issue with. Felt mixed about the movie as a whole. But it's one of those movies where I see people on Letterboxd that I follow rate this movie highly. And reading the reviews, I understand why they feel the way they do. I understand the love for this movie. But for me, I just wasn't really able to connect this movie. I felt very distant, and I just felt overall it was a very mixed bag of a movie. But again, I do see the appeal. I really do. But that's why I have it as my number 4. Next up, my number 3, we have Working Girl. This was a surprisingly enjoyable film. I found myself really digging it, especially as it went along. And it was pretty cool, too, seeing, like, Sigourney Weaver in, like, a role that, at this point, I really haven't seen something that she's taken like this role. Harrison Ford also, I felt like, was in a very interesting role. So there was just a lot of performances where it's like, oh, wow, they're in this. It's cool. And I liked it. I don't know. It's a very simple film for sure. But I do think that in many ways it was ahead of its time. Now, many people just look at it as like, like a lovable romantic comedy. And that's fine. But for its time, it was groundbreaking. And I do appreciate that. Don't love this film, but I do quite enjoy it. And that's why it is my number 3. Next up, we get to the nitty-gritty top 2. My number 2, this is actually what won Best Picture in 1988. And that is Rain Man. Yeah, I like Rain Man quite a bit. I've seen it 3 times now. I did rewatch it recently in preparation for this video, and I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. It's a film that is all about the character dynamics, and thankfully Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise work really well off each other. I enjoy their chemistry immensely. I think the development between these characters is great. The story is also simple on paper, but it's really well directed. I love the score. I think Hans Zimmer's score is good. Although I will say this, even though I am a fan of Hans Zimmer, I will say that this score, Driving Miss Daisy, and there were a couple other in the 80s where they all kind of blend together in terms of his scores. But I do like the score for Rain Man, especially the scenes in like Las Vegas and they have the montages. Those are a lot of fun. It's just an overall fun movie that some people might look at as quote-unquote dated now, but I do think that it holds up quite a bit. And I can see why it won Best Picture, for sure. No question about it. And honestly, in years past, I would have said it should have won Best Picture. I would always look at this movie in the past saying, yes, I'm glad it won Best Picture. It deserved it. But that's because I didn't see my number 1 until recently. Once I saw my number 1, I was like, no, this should have won Best Picture. Why didn't it win Best Picture? My number 1, if you haven't guessed already, it is Mississippi Burning. This is a film that I put off watching for a long time, and I really don't know why, because I like William Dafoe quite a bit as an actor, as well as Gene Hackman, and the premise is a mystery that also is tackling race. So it has like all the buttons that Chad is interested in, and it's one of those movies I just kept putting off. So I'm glad that I do these ranking videos because I finally had the urge to, finally sit down and watch this film, and I have to say, I loved this film. I thought this movie immediately grabbed me. I was caught off guard by just how great it was. The Best Cinematography Award, this film won And I'm so glad that it won. I do wish it won more Oscars, but I'm glad that it won because it is so great. The meticulous nature of it all. The behind the scenes, too, is also really interesting. I would definitely recommend looking up about the behind the scenes of it because it's really good. Love the score. It's very immersive. Love the performances, the dynamics between the two characters. William Dafoe and Gene Hackman both give great performances. Frances McDormand's also in this. She's really good. It's paced very well. It's a film that I didn't give a full 5 out of 5 on first viewing, but I am looking forward to rewatching it to see if my rating does go up. And then I am looking to the Kino Lore Blu-ray. I am looking to pick that up. I believe the sale is, I'm filming this in May of 2024. I do believe that it will be coming out in terms of June 2024, the Kino Lore sale. So I'll be picking that up on Blu-ray because I love Mississippi Burning. I think it's a very important film. I think that if you've been sleeping on this film, would highly recommend checking this out because it surprised me at just how great it was. Like, I liked it more than Rain Man. And like I said, I really, really enjoy Rain Man. So go check out Mississippi Burning. It's so worth your time. And yep, that is my ranking for the 1988 Academy Award Best Picture nominees. Let me know your ranking down below. I'm very much so looking forward to it. And guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Leave a subscription, notification bell, follow me down Letterboxd, and I will get you guys later.